Hey guys, we're back with UDN Season 2 uh, Draft Analysis. The Valdosta creates are back with another league. I've uploaded in a minute, haven't recorded in a minute. I actually have a couple of videos, I just didn't upload them, which is my fault, but it's whatever. So we were. This is just a league that Aaron invited me to. So because I said I needed another league, so here we are. Uh, it has a couple of quite uh, good players. Love Salabo, Sel Sel Selab Selab Goat. Um, Ollie's here. There's more than that too. I just don't remember them right off the top of my head. But many good players. From the upper division, that was strictly because uh, lack of lack of signups for upper division. So didn't really have to try out or anything or prove myself to get into upper division. But I mean, I'm okay with it. It's more convenient for me. But I was looking at we had 6th pick out of 12. Yeah, out of 12, I was dead middle. Quite unfortunate, but obviously with our first pick, it wasn't all that bad. We got Tabu Koko first pick. Um, Tabu, I didn't really know what I wanted, but like right before the draft, I was looking at what some mods I could get, and Coco was one of them. But I figured I was 6th pick, therefore I probably wasn't going to get Coco. But also stuff like Darkrai with no nasty plots allowed. So like I guess it's quite probable that I was going to get Coco, strictly because this isn't broken Coco with player off plus close combat, and it's obviously not Legacy, so it's just no hidden power either. So it's not broken Coco. It's still good Coco, but it's not broken Coco. Um, but everyone knows what Coco does. It could be physical, it could be special, it could be mixed. It's really spammable because electric tax in general, paired with the grass knot coverage, it just hits so many things. Specs Coco is really good. Just a life orb roost set. It gets nice coverage for like grasses and brave bird. It has stab D gleam. Be taunt. I guess U turn too, because if you can't click Volt Switch a lot, then you can obviously just U-turn out. Coco, I mean, everyone knows what Coco does, but it's very nice to set. It also gets Calm Mind, which is very nice for it because it can be a setup sweeper paired with some other things. Obviously, the very quick in 130, it has a higher attack than special attack, but you do see special Coco more just because Wild Charge kills itself. So you're kind of forced to run Roost, and then you can't run Life Orb as freely because you're also taking Life Orb plus Wild Charge. So yeah. Unfortunately, it's not, again, broken Coco with CC and Player Off. Player Off is ridiculous, and CC as well is quite good, but yeah, it's a good just all around Pokemon. It also gets Defog, which is cool. First pick Defog is always great. It's gonna be bringing more offensive though, but Defog's a nice coverage move if I need it. But I don't really. My team is all right versus hazards, has decent defoggers as well, so it's not that big of a deal. But you know, stuff to pair it with Coco. Our second pick, Medicham. Coco Medicham, it's one of the more fabled cores. I've never used Medicham, but you know, it's Medicham. It's great. With the terrain boosting its power of Thunder Punch, it gives it nearly triple stab. Uh, but I mean, T-Punch isn't always going to be ran. High jump kick, but it also got Drain Punch. Unfortunately, it didn't get close combat like most Pokemon, but so you either go for the very strong high jump kick or go for the weaker Drain Punch, but also gives you recovery and it's 100% accurate. High jump kick is obviously very strong, but it can miss. So let's just hope that doesn't happen. The one bad thing about Medicham is that it can't touch Psychics very well, but that's really like the only Pokemon that's swapping into pure power Medicham. Its stats aren't that impressive. Its bulk is it's decent enough to take 1 or 2 hits, but it can take resisted hits alright. But other than that, not taking hits. Its speed tier of 100. That gives me 2 Pokemon. My first 2 picks are both 100 plus. Means my speed tier is already looking nice. It could be a win con with bulk up. If I wanted to run Calm Mind, I can. I probably will not run that any, but it also gets Baton Pass. Dry passing is allowed, so I can run Baton Pass. It also gets Recover, so I mean, obviously Recover can be ran if I wanted to. Psycho Cut, I guess Psycho Cut, so in case I didn't want to miss the headbutt, I can run Psycho Cut. Obviously it is weaker, but it's not all too big of a deal. You have Poison Jab for fairies. Priority Bullet Punch is really nice. Priority Fake Out Bullet Punch. Double that does 50 to even like resisted Pokemon. But it's frail, I guess. But Bullet Punch gives you a cool priority versus like faster ghosts that you can't really hit otherwise. But yeah, it's just obviously a very good Pokemon. Coco Medicham, I mean, both top tier Pokemon. Medicham being a top 5 Mega, and then Coco being a top 5 Pokemon, tier 1 Pokemon. So obviously you're gonna have an alright team, even if the rest of the draft is just horrible. You got Coco Medicham, you can win. But next pick, this was actually Nihilego, but I intended on trading it to Shady for this Pokemon. So we're going to go over Lycanroc instead of Nihilego. Nihilego was really nice because it broke through like fairies for Medicham, and Medicham broke through steels for Nihilego. So that's obviously cool, but a nice pairing. But it's alright. Lycanroc, I don't remember whether it was tier. I think it was actually tier 2 in this league. I could be wrong on that. It might have been tier 3. But Lycanroc this generation, it just got better with close combat, and I think people are beginning to appreciate how much of a threat this Pokemon is. With Swords Dance, it gets double priority in a Cell Rock and Sucker Punch. So on mines that resist a Cell Rock, you can run Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch obviously is slightly less reliable strictly because they have to attack you, but versus say like an Excadrill in Sand, you can +2 Sucker Punch with Okos that thing. Well, +2 a Cell Rock does like 20%. So you see the difference there. I mean, what's he gonna do? Not attack you? I mean, Sand will run out, and then you can just CC instead. So I mean, it got CC this generation, which made it it's stronger than Stone Edge. So and it gave it basically close combat is more accurate than Stone Edge. It gave you an accurate move, and with Tough Claws, it's stronger than close combat. It is 156, while Stone Edge is 150. So, and it's obviously just more consistent. Obviously, both are low PP, but that's not generally all too big of a deal. It has really good coverage. Fire Fang, Drill Run, Crunch, Psychic Fangs, Play Rough, obviously Sucker Punch. I guess Thunder Fang too. Nice. Probably won't run that all too much, but could be cool. Lead Rocks with Endeavor is also an option. Just even neutrally, without even like a Life Orb boost, you're still hitting very hard. Banded to it kills ridiculous things. It does incredible damage with Banded. Even Life Orb, In the speed tier right now, my speed tiers are really nice because Lycanroc, if you don't have a speed tier between 110 or 95, then I can run Adamant Lycanroc, and or if your Pokemon between there dies to a Cell Rock / Sucker Punch, then obviously I'm gonna go for a Cell Rock / Sucker Punch versus them, so you die anyway. Um, so we can afford Adamant a lot, and it gives me that speed tier at 110. That obviously Coco Medicham, it goes from 130 down to 100. So obviously I want a speed tier in between there, and probably one between Medicham and Coco, or Lycanroc and Coco, which I do fill in. So my speed tiers again looking very nice at this moment. My offense is ridiculous, but bulky on the bulkier end, not that bulky, but we'll fix that up later, hopefully, which we do. So, next pick, Scizor. Scizor gave me that Steel type that I really did like, because at this point, obviously, I wanted a good Fairy Dragon Steel Core, which this solidifies me as a pretty good Steel type. I guess Priority Bullet Punch with Technician. Swords Dance Scizor is just in general very good. Lycanroc breaks through like the fires, and Scizor can break through and force in like the opposing what do they call well, no, just Lycanroc plus Scizor in general puts on a lot of pressure to like something like Hippowdon. Like obviously in general Hippo is not going to appreciate is going to appreciate Lycanroc plus Scizor very much so, because they're both very good physical attackers, so you run physical defensive Hippowdon and you wall both of them. But with the pressure of Scizor plus Lycanroc, it chips down this Hippo to the point where it can't really check both of them very well. Because, like, you get a Swords Dance up, and then Banded Lycanroc comes in and kills with CC. You saw my Noivern pick, but which solidifies my Fairy Dragon Steel Core and the speed tier between Lycanroc and Coco. But Scizor obviously in the slower end, but with its Priority Bullet Punch, it doesn't necessarily. Most of the time, you can run max HP. A lot of the times, you can just straight run max HP and not much speed, because obviously you're most of the time going for Bullet Punch. So and that's obviously a priority move. So your speed isn't as important. I guess other moves too. Dual Wing Beat is very cool because, for example, it hits like Volcarona setting up on you, but it's just nice in general because another coverage move is always good, and with Technician, it hits actually really hard. It's not forced to run like Acrobatics Technician or Wing Attack or Aerial Ace, stuff like that. It doesn't run those anymore because, well, now it can run Dual Wing Beat and stuff is stronger. Obviously, Dual Wing Beat is 90 accurate, it can miss, but still. It's another knockoff. It's my first knockoff support, but that's not too big of a deal. It's on the slower end, but it's okay because my speeches right now aren't really that problematic. It has reliable recovery and roost, and yeah. Noivern solidifies my, as I said before, my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. It gives me that speed tier between Lycanroc and Coco at 123. I have drafted this mon in like the past 6 leagues I've been in. It's such a good support Pokemon, and it can put in the offensive pressure too, because it outspeeds stuff like Greninja, which, I mean, right now I'd be kind of weak to Greninja, but that's not bad. It's one Pokemon, so it gives me Defog support, which I was lacking a good Defogger right now. Scizor and Coco both don't really want to run Defog all too much, but Noivern's perfectly okay with running it. Frisk is such a good scouting move because I obviously items in Draft League are big. You scout for like Rindo Berry for Coco, like on something like Seismitoad, for example, or like Gastrodon. You bring Noivern in, and you see the Rindo Berry, so now you know, hey, don't go for Grass on these Pokemon. You can get Earthquake, Earth Power, and drop, or lose like 80% on your Coco. If you aren't Roost, then you're stuck in that predicament. Frisk in general is such a good scouting move. Has a very good speed tier, obviously. It's not too strong with only 97 in special attack, but you have your dual stab is 130 and 110. Obviously, Hurricane's not the most reliable move because it's 70% accurate. I lost the finals to Hurricane Missing, but it's still just a very good Pokemon. Flying Dragon gives you a lot of pretty decent resistances. Like right now, I'm looking ground weak and kind of fighting weak. Not too fighting weak. I have offensive answers to fighting, but very good defensive ones. The Wyvern obviously gives me that resist that's quite reliable because recover, because it's very fast, so it checks the faster in fightings that might 2-KO me, like a Banded Terrakion, for example. Noivern's not taking 2 of those, but I outspeed, so I can just Hurricane it, and even if I don't kill it, then I'm doing like 80% to it. And now something like Lycanroc is looking better. But it also gets Dragon Dance, so I can run physical. I've never ran physical, but it's an option if I really wanted to. Then its coverage isn't too important, but it gets a lot of support moves, such as Super Fang, Taunt Super Fang. It gets U-Turn, even gets Whirlwind, which is cool. It's not that great, but it's just a big Pokemon. It's such a good support Pokemon, and it's very good offensively as well. But next Pokemon, I wanted to focus more on bulk, because my first 5 just super duper offensive. A lot of them are just they have very little bulk. Like out of them all, Scizor's the bulkiest one, and that's not the most consistent of things. Like, but anyway, I got Mug next because obviously I had Nihilego at the point, but I was dropping Nihilego, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I needed a grounded poison. I needed a dark type at this point. I was looking, again, I'm still kind of weak to grounds, but we do patch that up. We patched that up pretty well. Obviously, we already have Noivern, but we want more than one ground resist / immunity. So, Muck, and I've never used Muck, but I think it's a very good assault vest Pokemon in general because of 105 HP and 100 special defense. And you already have base 105 attack, so you don't really need too much attack investment. Like, your knockoffs are very strong, your Gunk Shock / Poison Jabs. With Poison Touch, Poison Jab, it's like a 51% chance to poison every time you go for Poison Jab. So, obviously there, you get Priority Shadow Sneak, which isn't too great, but it's okay. Obviously, it doesn't appreciate the berry, the 50% berry, the Super Berry, too much being nerfed from 50 to 33, but you can still run Curse Gluttony okay. Obviously, less consistent now, but it's still usable. It's still very usable. It even gets stuff like Memento, so I can link Memento into Calm Mind Coco or into SD Scizor or SD Lycanroc, because obviously, like something like SD Lycanroc, you don't set up very freely because you're very frail. But with Memento, I can Memento into it, they're at -2, and now you're setting up pretty okay. Mug's problem is that it does not have reliable recovery outside of Black Sludge and Rest, and neither one of them are really that reliable. So it does appreciate Wish Support a lot, which I do get. I'll go ahead and spoil that. I do get Wish Support, because I was not drafting Mug without Wish Support, and I started planning here. Like, these 5, they weren't really planned. It just kind of happened. But I started planning, like, what I wanted at this point. I saw Mug, and I was very hesitant on it, but I did end up getting it. I was going to get something like Dragalge and over Noivern initially, but I didn't like Dragalge. I just like Noivern Speed Tier. Most of anything, I did like Noivern Speed Tier, and I liked how I've used it before. So, it gave me that ground immunity that I'm looking, again, quite weak to ground types at this point. Muck and Coco and Lycanroc, all very weak to ground. Scizor, which is my bug type, which normally resists ground, doesn't resist ground because of my steel typing, so you have to patch that up a little bit. But again, we do patch that up. But yeah, just Muck's in general, very nice Pokemon. It was tier 3, so. The next Pokemon, Palossand. I've been a Palossand fan a lot. I've tried this thing multiple times. Normally I see it as tier 5. It is tier 4 here. I do think tier 4 Palossand is reasonable. I think tier 4 Palossand is good. I don't think it's tier 5 Pokemon. I think it's very bulky. Like, it has 85 HP, but then paired with 110 defense, and with that ghost ground typing, you have such good immunities. Like, you're immune to electric, you're immune to normal, and you're immune to fighting. All of these, and you even have 100 base special attack. So you're not set up fodder really with like Earth Power, especially with Scorching Sands now. Scorching Sands is so big for it because now you're not just a sitting wall. You're just you can burn now and cripple a physical attacker with the Scorching Sands. It also gets tech moves like Sludge Bomb for like Bulu, which I mean you're always not staying in on Bulu too much, but you can. It gets reliable recovery and shore up. It gets rocks, which I don't have a single rocker at this point outside of Lycanroc, and obviously Lycanroc wants to run other things. So this gave me a rocker, and I did realize did not have rocks, and I get like multiple rockers at this point in a row. But so that proves not to be problematic. But Palisand's a very good defensive Pokemon. It gets Iron Defense too, but it's obviously not that great. It can be ran. I guess block, so I can like block Toxic something and cripple it or kill it more so. I don't get how Shore Up is in the usually useless, but it's quite useful. But it is what it is. And yeah, just Water Compaction doesn't really matter all too much, but just because I've never once had Water Compaction do shit for me. But it can still be nice as taking for like some kind of physical hit and then shoring up immediately. Then suddenly you like beat a physical water. I don't even have an example for that. I don't know what physical water type you're going to beat with Palisand, but yeah, I don't see anything you're beating with Palisand. But maybe it can. Very slow, but obviously that doesn't really matter with Palisand. Next Pokemon, I didn't have a tier 5 at this point. I didn't have multiple free picks. So we get our Wish support in Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff, that gives me Double Fairy, but that's not a big of a deal. I don't care about Double Fairy. Because they do the opposite of things. But Wigglytuff gave me that Wish support, and it gets Wish Teleport for the record. It's Baby Clefable. It even gets Knockoff. It really is just Baby Clefable. It's also a lot less bulky, but it has very fat HP stat. So you get very fat wishes into Muck, into Lycanroc even, with Teleport. Just Teleport in general is a stupid move this gen. And it's a nice heal ball support, so you can't really like burn or you can't burn Muck, you can't Toxic Palisand, I can play a lot more recklessly and be okay just because I have Wish Teleport and Heal Bell. So it gives me another knockoff support. It gets rocks. Yeah, I had to remember that for a second. But I mean, it has Frisk as well, and as I said before, Frisk just in general a very nice move. It's not walled by steals because you get Fire Blast and Flamethrower. So it has a lot of coverage moves. So again, you're not just a sitting wall. I mean, it's just in general, it was one of the better tier 5s that I could have gotten then. I didn't know what else to get, really. I mean, there's nothing crazy it gets, but I just primarily got it for Wish support for Muck, and my next pick as well also very much appreciates Wish support, so Wigglytuff can do that. It gives me a Dragapult answer too, which it's like a Dragapult wall, which at this point I am kind of weak to Dragapult. I mean, when you look at this, I don't really have the greatest Dragapult answers. So, but yeah. Next Pokemon, Empoleon. I don't like Empoleon without Wish support. I never would have drafted this Pokemon without Wish support. Same for Mug. I never would have drafted either one of those without Wish support. But at this point, I had the rest of my team planned out, and I figured I was going to get them. But we got Empoleon. Empoleon gave me a Rocker, a Defogger. Gave me that Water type, which I was actually lacking at this point. I have Double Steel, not that big of a deal. They're two very different steels. They actually have a lot of different resistances and weaknesses too. Like, Scizor was quad weak to fire, while Empoleon's not even weak to fire. So, that is slightly problematic, though. My water type doesn't resist fire, but it's another ground weak Pokemon, but our last two are both immune to ground types. So, again, as I said before, I am quite weak to ground types, but I have many answers. I made sure to have many answers. So yeah. I don't think it's Weon, and I saw Nips or Talent, Mr. Talent, do a lot with Empoleon offensively, which offensive Empoleon's not great, but it's also it's not weak. Like 111 special attack, which is actually its strongest stat. 86 attack is also respectable, especially with Defiant. It doesn't allow defog as well. So you can run like Droplex cool as like a coverage move, just specifically for something like Chestnut, or like what's a defogger that's gonna try to defog on you. I mean, I guess like I don't know. Droplex not hitting much, but you can run it like once in a season and it work. But Droplex also just in general a coverage move that's nice for it. Coverage is always nice. Paired with a Defiant, it gets Swords Dance and Aqua Jet, so it can be a sweeper, I guess. It gets a lot of cool moves. It's another knockoff user. Wigglytuff is too. But yeah, it is. It's the best defogger, as everyone knows that. It's just my Scald spammer. Certain teams, Empoleon's just very nice for certain teams, and it walls like 75% of it. It walls like all of it. But it's fine. Yeah, not much to say about Empoleon, but it's just in general a good Pokemon. It's not weak by any means, but it also is cool. Especially with Wish support. Next Pokemon, Moltres. As I said, ground resist at this point. I needed more ground immunities / resistances. Obviously, this is a ground immunity, so my fire type is immune to ground, which is amazing. Gives me defog, it gives me a ground immunity, it gives me a fighting resist, it gives me this is my first Pokemon that's actually gonna run boots consistently. Even like Noivern, it might not even run boots consistently. But this is the first Pokemon that's gonna consistently run boots pretty much most of the time. I got Scorching Sands. It got what else did it get? I don't know if I had Brave Bird before, but it gets Brave Bird now, which is probably not gonna be ran all too much considering you have a Hurricane. But it can be cool with Flare Blitz, Brave Bird, Steel Wing, U-Turn, like as a physical bandit set. Maybe. I mean, that's not really a set, but maybe sometimes. It's Pressure and Flame Body. Both are really nice. Pressure, obviously, just lowering the opponent's PP. Flame Body punishes U-turns from, like, anything, really. I have lost a finals. I lost Tier 3 and below Season 1 finals because Moltres missed a Fire Blast on Moongus. That might have been Season 2. But we're going to go for it again. We're not going to miss Fire Blast. We're going to run Flamethrower every week. And that's probably a joke, but I probably will run Flamethrower multiple times. It's a nice whiz Pokemon. It has U-turn, so it can pivot out. It does force a lot of swaps. So it's another defogger, which is my most consistent defogger so far. Well, outside of Empoleon, who, again, is the best defogger. You see Rotom. It's another defogger, another ground immunity, and gives me a grass type. So I get my Fire, Water, Grass last 3 picks, but obviously Moltres is going to be forced to run boots a lot, but sometimes you won't even have to. Like, I have defog Rotom and defog Empoleon and defog Scizor and defog Noivern and defog Koko. I have a lot of defoggers. Obviously, not all of them are the greatest, but they can work. If, like, offensive Moltres is better, I did click copy, but if offensive Moltres is better, then I can run defog on something else, and it's okay. And Moltres obviously doesn't need the wish support, but Rotom appreciates it from Wigglytuff. Wigglytuff. It also gets Air Slash. It gets Air Slash and Flamethrower, which means Fire Blast Hurricane obviously is riskier and is stronger, but it's not 100% needed, as I can run Air Slash and Flamethrower for 100% accuracy, or Air Slash 95, but close enough to 100. Scorching Sands means you actually have a way to hit something like Heatran. Obviously, before Heatran hard-walled you, but now it doesn't. It has two good abilities, as I said before, and yeah, it has pretty good stats. Well-rounded, very offensive with 125 special attack. Definitely not to be sat on. Rotom's not too special. I've drafted this many times. I am drafting this a lot. But Rotom, it's obviously a ground immunity. Gave me that grass type. Gave me another electric type. Don't really care. They do pretty similar things as volt switching, but Rotom's obviously a better volt switcher. That's not actually true. It's nice at volt switching because ground types can't really come in because I'm a grass type. I'm Leaf Storm. So ground types really can't come in as safely, at the very least. It gets Wisp. It gets Defog. It's just... And something like... I don't know, it gets Foul Play too, which is actually nice. It got Nasty Plot this gen as well, which is really cool because it means certain things. Like, you deal with fat better, so Nasty Plot's pretty cool. Its only recovery is Pain Split, but we have Wish support from Wigglytuff, so it's alright. Dual Screens, that's cool for, like, setting Lycanroc up, setting Calm Mind Coco up. So, and with Volt Switch, I do have a lot of pivoting on this team through Volt Switch Rotom, U-turn Moltres, Teleport Wigglytuff, U-turn Noivern, U-turn Scizor, Baton Pass Medichime, and U-turn / Volt Switch Coco. We have a lot of pivoting, which is really cool in Draft League. And yeah, that is our UDN Season 2 draft. I said before I hate doing draft analysis, and that stands, but I did this as quickly as I thought I could. So yeah, go ahead and say what you think about our draft. I think this is definitely the best draft I've ever drafted. Maybe, well, not when we had the Magearna team in UPBL. When we had Magearna, I was obviously broken, so then, you know, that was our best team just because one Pokemon. But, like, Mag plus Teeny was good, too. Anyway, yeah, that was our draft. And, yeah, we face Aaron week 1, and that'll be going up, like, tomorrow, hopefully. Or, yeah, tomorrow. I'm recording this the 12th, and this will be going up today, and tomorrow is in the 13th, or the 3rd. Week 1 versus Aaron will be going up. So, it's cool. We don't have an Ice type on this team, but that's okay. Ice types are like one of the worst types. Offensive Ice is not bad, but originally going to get a Kyurem, but I opted for another way. But yeah, I hope you like the team. I might very much do, so yeah, and that's it.